Mikey Musumeci.
He's so good and so weird. All he does is eat pasta and pizza, and he only eats once a day.
Yeah.
He's a genius, too.
As a multi-time world champion, Mikey Musumeci has reached the pinnacle of the sport, advocating for clean competition and the well-being of its youth. He isn't just a jiu-jitsu phenom. He's one of the most vocal athletes in the sport about major issues.
My goal in jiu-jitsu isn't about the titles, it's about helping the next generation.
And that's the argument, that, oh, you could compete every weekend if you're not exclusive. Okay, good for you. Go on steroids, compete every weekend. Like, I can't recover that fast. And it's still insane how much hate I get for being against steroids.
Yet, recently, Darth Rigatoni has become better known for his online escapades, signing controversial deals and aligning with questionable figures.
I'm a little offended when somebody says, oh, good luck. Like, yeah, I don't need luck. I have skills.
I am excited to announce that we've signed Mikey Musumeci to the first ever exclusive BJJ promotional agreement in the company's history.
Leaving many to wonder, who is the real Mikey Musumeci? Michael was born in Marlborough, New Jersey on July 7th, 1996, and began training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at just 4 years old. Since starting his competition journey as a juvenile blue belt, Musumeci won the IBJJF World Championships at every belt level all the way up to black, which he received from Gilbert Burns at age 18. As a 4-time world champion and Pan American champion, 5-time IBJJF black belt world champion, and the first American to win more than one IBJJF world title at black belt, it's safe to say, Mikey is one of the biggest names in the jiu-jitsu world right now. Everything was going pretty good for young Mikey, but recently, Musumeci has managed to find himself on the wrong end of a number of online spats. Perhaps of all the recent disputes Mikey has been involved in, which he fared best, was his beef with Gordon Ryan, so that seems a fair place to start. It is no secret that in the sport of BJJ, steroid use is rampant. Although many competitions will not openly state that steroids and other drugs are allowed, it is common knowledge that organizers don't have the funds to properly drug test. Think of early bodybuilding culture. The Mr. Olympia competition didn't say all the athletes were on steroids, but come on. Mikey is someone who has become somewhat of a rarity in the BJJ community, since he is a strong advocate for stricter drug testing.
But 99% of jiu-jitsu is on steroids, so at least let them get off steroids a little bit.
But in jiu-jitsu, there's kid programs, like the biggest teams in the world, they have the kids taking steroids. And people know, and they just ignore it. They turn their back to it.
Yeah.
So that's something that has to change in jiu-jitsu as we get a bigger sport.
You've ever had to deal with man, this guy's juiced up and it's just unfair?
My whole life. I'll start a match with the people on steroids and I'll be like, what the he feels like a rock.
In one of many rants Mikey would go on, he mentioned Gordon Ryan as an example of somebody who had abused steroids to their own detriment.
Right.
Well, let me just make an example, okay?
Yeah.
So Gordon Ryan's 1 year older than me.
Yeah.
He looks like he's 40.
Yeah.
Are we the same? Are we 1 year apart? Like, how is that possible?
And unsurprisingly, Gordon would take issue with this.
So he'll talk about if you use steroids that you're mentally weak, and then his very next post will be like, I'm depressed and I'm sad and we really need to talk about mental. It's just bro, just do your thing and leave everybody else alone.
One thing that will become evident over the course of this video is that Mikey is a bit of a flip-flopper. He will make a very strong and opinionated statement on a topic or person, only to later pretend like his original stance was far more neutral than it really was.
That's me being respectful. Thank you, Gordon, for the kind words. But yeah, I have some disagreements with him, and some of the values that he has and I have are different.
Not that this stopped Gordon from forgetting.
So just this is a guy who's attacking my morals and saying, he's a cheater, this and that. This guy has been on 37 different jiu-jitsu teams. He just takes what he wants from a team, and then when he has all the knowledge that he can get, he just leaves and goes to a different team. It's just shut up, dude. Just leave me alone and do your thing.
Fortunately for Mikey, Gordon actually struggled to articulate much of an argument for why his steroid abuse wasn't having a detrimental impact on the sport's youth. However, when Mikey signed an exclusive deal with the UFC, his next debate would have a far more formidable adversary.
You do realize if everyone signs with UFC BJJ, you have no leverage to really negotiate your contract because there's nowhere else to go.
When Mikey signed his contract with the UFC, it was the first time it became apparent that Mikey was not all that financially literate or understanding of business practices. There is a strange phenomenon in BJJ where people within the community will treat black belts with a bizarre, undeserved reverence. They will assume that because somebody is very good at jiu-jitsu, this must mean they are also somewhat of an academic, a competent philosopher, a distorted guru-like figure who, yes, may well sleep in his car, but has a black belt, and therefore his thoughts on worldly affairs is worth listening to. Often, these people can also buy into their own BS and start doing strange things like going on podcasts and advocating for why it would be a great idea for the UFC to have a monopoly over another sport, not just MMA.
But UFC is just another option for people that if you want to compete with me, you want to get the most exposure beating me, come to UFC.
But what if they don't offer good money to your opponents?
Are they getting better money elsewhere?
$1 million? Potentially.
What Mikey failed to see is that while he was getting a healthy paycheck, the overall business model of the UFC is to reduce the number of options available to fighters to force them into taking low-paying contracts.
Where the way the UFC is going, it could potentially be a monopoly in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Because it's starting to take a lot of the good grapplers, and then eventually, once they have all the grapplers, there's no place for you guys to go grapple, and then you have no leverage in order to be able to say what you want.
The plan is that if they can buy up enough of the top-level talent in BJJ like Mikey, it will make their belt the most prestigious award in jiu-jitsu, meaning rising talent will have to sign with them if they ever want the credibility to be called the best. Sound familiar? It should, because this is exactly the model Dana used to monopolize MMA. Mikey is the perfect fool for a company like the UFC, as he doesn't understand any of this and will genuinely make UFC talking points alluding to exposure and a platform being equivalent to payment.
And my page grew from like 500,000 to like 1 million in like a few months just being with UFC. I think that was great, and I think that if they could do that for many people, we'll see. And if they can, then we'll get more exposure and we'll get more seminar opportunities, DVD sales, all these different things will come from that.
It's just like, man, if you're talking about exposure, that doesn't sound like you're talking about paying me very much money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like those sort of things really, really rub me the wrong way.
But in typical Mikey fashion, he recently announced he had not re-signed with the UFC and was a free agent. One can only assume because so few other for the terrible contracts that he had nobody of note to fight.
And then I'll get crapped on from the community. Oh, I'm not having hard matches. I'm not having hard. It's not really my fault if there's people that don't want to compete with me or I'm not able to compete with people, right?
Yes, Mikey. Your exclusive contract meant you didn't have the freedom to fight the best in the world across multiple promotions, which was what Craig and everyone with 2 brain cells to rub together was telling you since the beginning. But perhaps the most frustrating of all Mikey's misadventures was his god-awful decision to serve as a promotional puppet for Derek Moneyberg. Moneyberg has been a fairly new addition to the MMA community, but he is effectively just another financial hustle bro scam artist trying to sell young men on a fictional lifestyle and persona. Once he has their attention, he directs them to his other businesses that are totally not MLMs or pyramid schemes.
I think of it as like a wealth coach, or I try to help people make decisions that would lead to long-term wealth.
He has paid off a number of MMA legends to vouch that he is in fact an extremely talented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, paying them ridiculous amounts of money to lie for him. I mean, train with him and give off the impression he is a freak athlete who earned his black belt in near record-breaking time.
Which is the highest honor possible in Jiu-Jitsu. In 3.5 years, if it would have taken you 20 years, people would have been like, all right, that makes sense. 3.5 years as a mid-40-year-old with fighters who, sometimes their decision-making is called into question.
One of the many athletes to take money from Moneyberg and launder his abilities through their own credibility was, of course, Mikey.
But what I think that came out of the Moneyberg situation, I think...
Money?
But anyways, he's very dedicated and he's...
Did you get paid extra to wear the rash guard is the question.
Now, on one level, this is funny because Mikey is clearly unable to hide the fact he doesn't believe the lie he has been paid to tell. But we are just going to gloss over the fact he took money to tell one?
So his ability to let go of his ego, to perfect what he's working on, and his work ethic, I really value in him, and I really admire that. I look up to him with that.
After being mocked for being a part of such a blatant scam, Mikey turned on Moneyberg and admitted that the online response brought him back to reality.
But yeah, it just, sometimes people got to just be real with you and just put you straight, So I'm happy the community was pissed at me and they just put me straight and it is what it is. But yeah, I got beat up pretty bad with that one.
But Mikey would change his position on Moneyberg yet again, after Derek went on his own podcast to call Mikey the Judas of Jiu-Jitsu.
You just posted like 2 days ago on your channel.
And we
You
had
called him the Jiu-Jitsu Judas.
And we had a conversation since then.
Mikey then returned to the Jake Shields podcast to reaffirm his participation in the Moneyberg lie.
Derek, but I just think he would beat a lot of black belts with a few months cardio training. He has the technical skill, in my opinion, and
I think so. I think that, again, if he just had the cardio, I think that he would definitely be sufficient in competing with those guys.
It's not hard to see why Musumeci can rub so many people the wrong way. He seems to be someone who can change his allegiances on a dime and can be easily bought off by people with a bit of cash lying around, which all feels in complete contradiction to his "let's make jiu-jitsu safe for kids" message that now rings hollow. How can you criticize Gordon Ryan for encouraging kids to get on steroids and then turn around and expose your own young fan base to financial scams?
So it's like, I see these guys, like, if you're going to say what's like, you're not a sellout, this is the right way to go for the sport. And then on the other hand, you're like, wow, this guy's one of the best black belts I've ever seen, despite what he looks like and that he wears socks on the mats. You know what I mean? It's like, Mikey, we're getting mixed signals here, mate. I'm happy to sell out. Just own it. You can sell out. Just own it. Don't pretend it's something else.
But perhaps we are being too harsh. After all, Mikey is neurodivergent and has been open that his autism can be a cause for some of his awkward interactions with the world around him.
They're like, Mikey, no, we added a middle piece. So it looks like I'm retarded, like turning right to the side.
So they set you up.
They set me up for my autism.
So they're exploiting you.
Except, of course, he has even flip-flopped on that. Because Mikey claimed he had been tested and knew he didn't have autism, many found it eyebrow-raising that he would now claim to be autistic as a part of some sort of persona.
Today, because I think you are maybe exploiting a community for your advantage.
I think he plays that shit up, bro. Like every match, I want to hit my screen.
Wait, you think he plays up his autism?
Bro, he'll come out. Bro, they prep you. You help build the ring. He'll come out and he'll do this. Which you know, I can't go hang out with the fans. Wait, what?
Oh, I'm competing?
Wait, I can't go see my mom? Wait, no.
I can't go see my mom. The ring is that way, bro.
Oh, he always does that shit. It drives me insane.
Obviously, Mikey Musumeci's brand is built around autism. People are invested in that.
But now, Mikey seems to be openly claiming that he does in fact have autism. Is he using his platform to inspire a younger generation of autistic children in the sport? Maybe he uses it as an opportunity to raise awareness about autism like Tom Aspinall?
This because the waiting lists are just ridiculous, like absolute, like for ADHD and autism and stuff like that. You just almost can't get a diagnosis, and there's a lot of parents out there who are lost. They don't know what to do.
Or does he use it as another way of making himself a meme?
How proud are you of your performance?
I want to dedicate this performance to Tylenol. It's a great supplement.
A big problem for Mickey seems to be that he might not even know who he really is. Does he think Gordon Ryan is damaging the sport and the health of young kids? Or does he in fact respect Ryan and think he has a positive impact? Does he want to grow the sport? Or does he want to take exclusive contracts that only benefit superstars and promoters? Would he like to see the jiu-jitsu community be more transparent and honest? Or does he want to give all his credibility to Derek Moneyberg? Does he even have autism?